How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today, we're going to battle versus Mamba in the OU tier from the Discord server. Go ahead and join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battling right now. There is a link in the description down below. Looking at the team, Blissey's going to be hard to break, but we do have the Metagross, we have the Flygon, and the, well, that's about it, really, on the physical side. The Gastrodon's going to be a pain, so we're going to need Sceptile for that, definitely. I'm hoping Metagross can do something, but they have an Incineroar, a Cinderace, a Gastrodon, and a Gengar, so I'm like, don't really know what to do there. So what I might do is lead off with the Flygon. So it should be a safe lead. I don't think they lead off with anything that counteracts Flygon. I think if anything, they lead with Gastrodon to get the Stealth Rocks up or something along those lines. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Mamba. So they're going to lead off with Ghost Freak, the Gengar, nice and shiny. We lead off with our Flygon. Now, this is obviously not the best matchup. There's no way my Flygon's staying in here because they could definitely go for a Dazzling Gleam right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my next best encounter to that, which is going to be... I guess Porygon Z could definitely do some work. It can definitely take a Dazzling Gleam, but do I want it to? That's the real question. So they have a trick here. Or I think they switch out, personally. I really think they switch out. So I think our best bet here is to just go straight for the EQ. They don't have a flying type to come in. So I'm going to go straight for the EQ right away. So they do withdraw. Because we could be Scarfed. Got to consider that. We could be Scarfed. They're going to go into Gaston, which is probably the Gastrodon. It is. Also nice and shiny. Got to love it. And we go for an EQ. That's going to do some solid damage, I hope. It does alright damage. Considering it's choice banded, then that's alright damage. I know it's not even choice banded, but heavy duty boots. I forgot about that. So we're a Dragon Dance set. Duh. Which was choice banded on this team. You know, I'm losing track of all the teams. So I'm going to go into Sceptile. Sceptile can definitely take on this Gastrodon, no problem. Can definitely take any hit it wants to throw. So even if they go for an Ice Beam, it's going to, you know, bounce off of Sceptile pretty much. Not really. It's going to do a decent bit of chunk of damage. But they go for a Yawn, which is an interesting one. So Yawn comes through. So they don't know if we're physical or special. We could be an Unburden set with Acrobatics. And that's definitely a possibility. So they probably don't go into Blissey here. They probably go into their Fire type. I'd say Incineroar comes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Flygon. I think Flygon's a good opportunity here. Or they go for a Stealth Rocks, one of the two. So we're going to withdraw our Sceptile. And we are going to go into our Flygon, expecting the Incineroar to come in as a free switch. Because they definitely don't want to lose their Gastrodon. They do switch out the Gastrodon as expected. Hopefully into the Incineroar. Although saying that, Incineroar... You see, they still don't know if we're Scarfed or not. Because we went for the EQ. It definitely didn't do banded damage, that's for sure. So we could use this as an opportunity to sell Dragon Dancers. But then again, they'll probably just go back into Gastrodon, right? So I think I am going to go for another EQ. Because Earthquake should 2-hit KO the Gastrodon from where it's at. They're going to go for a trick, which is interesting because they've basically just sacrificed their Gengar right now, as they're going to trick a nice and powerful Choice Spect onto us as we go for the EQ. So we are a Choice Spect Flygon, which is really unfortunate. No Dragon Dancing today, but we do take out the Gengar. And there's the Cursed Body. So now we have to switch the Flygon out. No matter what they bring in, even if they bring in the Cinderace, we have to switch it out. In comes Pondwick, which is going to be the Inteleon, right? Yeah, the Inteleon comes in nice and shiny as well. Gotta love it. So we definitely switch out here. We don't want to take an Ice Beam, that's for sure. I'm leaning towards Metagross to take an Ice Beam. I'm also leaning towards Pelipper to take a Snipe Shot, predicting the Metagross. They could have Dark Pulse as well, so we've got to be wary of that. I think Raikou might be the play because we're Choice Scarf. We can Volt Switch pretty much on anything except from the Gastrodon. But then again, I'm like, nah. I think Pelipper might be the choice. Pelipper may be the choice. It'll weaken the power of the Incineroar and the Cinderace as well. So I think I'm going to go Pelipper here. Expecting a Snipe Shot, expecting the insert Pokemon here to come in to take an Ice Beam. So there we go. Pelipper comes in. We're going to get the rain up, which is always nice. Drizzling out here. They go for an Icicle Spear. They are a physical Inteleon with Icicle Spear. Probably loaded dice, if I had to guess, to get a crit, which is unfortunate. And that is going to sting our Pelipper a little bit. So, obviously, they get hit 5 times because of the loaded dice. Now, we can just go for a U-turn here. Because whatever they go for, we're going to be able to take the next turn. So, they're going to withdraw their Inteleon. Because they don't want to. They just don't want to lose it to a Hurricane. And they're going to go into Gaston. Who we, skillfully, might I add, went for a U-turn on. So we get a U-turn on the Gastrodon. This gives us an opportunity to bring Sceptile in. And Sceptile might actually be the underdog here who does really well. Because we do have the Tera Blast fighting, which we can take out the Incineroar with. So I'm going to go Sceptile. Now, they have to be careful here, because if we go for a Leaf Blade, it's going to hurt that Blissey. So they can't necessarily switch that in, because they don't know what set we are. So they probably bring in one of their Fire types. And if they bring in one of their Fire types, well, we can't really do anything to the Fire types yet. We need to weaken them a bit first, unless it's the Incineroar. So let's go for an Energy Ball first. Yeah, they're going to withdraw, so obviously you don't keep a Gastrodon in against a Sceptile. That's just not going to be good for your health. They're going to go into Ronda the Beaming, which is going to be the Incineroar. So Incineroar comes in, so we could get this thing. So they get an Intimidate off, which is going to do nothing. We go for an Energy Ball, which is going to do minimal damage. Actually, that tells me that damage was too minimal. Could it be Assault Vest Incineroar? That's the real question. So I am going to go back into Pelipper here, because Pelipper can definitely take on this Incineroar, no problem. Knockoff's going to sting, but it should be alright. They might go for a Flare Blitz anyway, or they might go for a Parting Shot. You never know. You never know. So they do go for a knockoff, which is going to knock off our Damp Rock, which is unfortunate, but I don't think we need the rain to win this game. What we need is to get rid of that Gastrodon and that Blissey, and then Raikou can come through. So I am going to go for a U-turn here, because they are 100% going to either knock us out with knockoff, or they're going to switch out. I don't mind losing Pelipper. We outspeed them somehow. Incineroar's slow. I know Incineroar's slow, but really? We outspeed them? Let's go into Flygon. Flygon's not doing much this game. If anything, we could get our Choice Specs knocked off, which would be nice. Darkest Lariat. So they must be a bulky Incineroar. If I remember correctly, if they sent this from Pokemon Home to use, there was an old set that was like specially defensive or something. That might be the case. So let's go for an EQ. No reason not to go for an EQ right now. So they're going to withdraw Incineroar. What are they going to go into to take an EQ? That is the real question. They're going Blissey, bugging you. That is the Blissey. Okay, so it's nice and shiny as well. Gotta love it. We go for that EQ. Flygon's massive as well. Why is Flygon so big? We do a lot of damage to that Blissey. Right now. What kind of damage was that to a Blissey? What on earth? Let's go for another EQ and take it out. Flygon actually goes crazy right now. I was not expecting that damage on Blissey. That is great for us, though. So Gaston's going to come in once again. Nice and shiny. We go for an EQ. That's going to do some solid damage, right? Yeah, some solid damage right there. They do have the leftovers, of course. So I don't want to lose my Flygon, because it still threatens that Blissey and it threatens the Incineroar. But at the same time, I want to get as much damage off on this Gastrodon as I possibly can, because, you know, realistically speaking, it's a pretty big threat to our team other than Sceptile. So I am leaning towards doing something here. So I'm going to go for an EQ. Oh, I clicked Dragon Claw. Oh, no, we're Choice Spec, so it's all right. We're all right. I didn't misclick. So we go for an EQ. Should take out the Gastrodon. Does take out the Gastrodon, which is great. Gastrodon goes down. So Flygon looking like the MVP right now. A Choice Specs physical Flygon, which nearly one-shots a Blissey with EQ. That's crazy good. So Azula comes in, which is going to be the Cinderace. So with Cinderace in, we are in a bit of a predicament here. We could go for an EQ. We could switch into Pelipper. I'm leaning towards the Pelipper switch, to be honest with you. I am leaning towards the Pelipper switch, and that is exactly what I'm going to go for, because we can still use Flygon to take out that Blissey, to take out that Incineroar before after an Intimidate. Maybe not after an Intimidate, but we get the Rain up anyway. That's going to lower the power of the Pyro Ball. That could be coming our way. They do go for a U-turn, though, which is good on their part. It's going to give them some momentum. But Pelipper is here to get knocked out, no matter what they bring in. If they bring in the Blissey, we get to KO it with Surf, which would be amazing. In comes Bugging You, which is going to be the Blissey. So Blissey's in. Looking all how it looks. We're going to get some leftovers recovery right there. And they're probably going to go for a Soft Boil. But we know for a fact that our Flygon KOs this thing with an Earthquake, even after a Soft Boiled. So they do withdraw. Interesting. They make a switch. And they're going to Ronda the Beaming, which is going to be the Incineroar once again. So what's the play here? What is the play here? They go... What? We go for a U-turn anyway. Minimal damage to the Incineroar, of course. And then we just go into Flygon, because we don't have to worry about Intimidate. And we get a KO right now. Choice Specs Earthquake Flygon, ladies and gentlemen. Choice specs. Choice emphasis on the specs part. Flygon with Earthquake, not Earth Power, is plowing through this team right now. They definitely switch out. No, they don't. They stay in to tank the Earthquake. Do they tank it? They do not tank it. If Blissey couldn't tank the Earthquake, Incineroar definitely ain't. Incineroar definitely ain't. But what was their switching right there? Not a lot. I mean, looking at the Blissey damage, Cinderace definitely goes down, Inteleon definitely goes down as well on the switch-in. In comes Azula, the reliable partner, which is going to be the Cinderace. So Cinderace comes in, which is interesting. So are they trying to store the rain or something? That's what I want to know. So I don't think I need Flygon anymore. I don't think I do. I'm going to go for an EQ, just in case they go for a U-turn and we live. They go for the high jump kick. Libero changes them into a fighting type. They take out Flygon, no problem. But Flygon did so well. Choice specs, Earthquake, Flygon did so well this game. So well. So we got a couple of options here. We can go into our Sceptile if we really want to. And go for a Terra Fighting, Terra Blast, and finish off the game like that. I think it might. I think Sceptile might be the key here. So I'm going to go Sceptile. Because as much as I love Flygon, I would love a Sceptile video. Because I feel like Sceptile is just really underused right now. I mean, it literally is underused. Not underused. It's never used, I think. So I'm going to go for that Terra Fighting Terra Blast. I think that is the answer here. So there we go. Going to Terastallize real quick. And then because of the rain, if they go for Pyro Ball here, or U-turn's not very effective, but if they go for Pyro Ball, we should be able to tank it like an absolute champ. And then go for a Terra Blast and KO this thing. Pretty much is what I'm going for, right? It's pretty much what I'm going for. So they go for a U-turn as expected. Critical hits are occurring, which is unfortunate, but whatever. And now they probably go into Blissey to sack, right? Also, in what universe does Cinderace outspeed Sceptile? What's that all about? That's not fair. So Terra Blast comes through. It's going to definitely KO this Blissey from here. There we go. We're going to pummel it into Oblivion. Down goes the Blissey. I still can't believe how much Flygon damage did to Blissey. That's crazy good. Crazy good damage that was. So Sceptile's looking pretty good right now. In comes Pondwick, which is an interesting choice. So we have an opportunity here for Sceptile to do some damage against the Cinderace. So I'm going to go for that Solar Beam. Power Herb boosted. Not boosted, but you know what I mean. Power Herb, so it doesn't take 2 turns to attack. So they are going to Terastallize, which is an interesting choice. So I forgot they could Terastallize still, to be honest with you. I really did forget my opponent could Terastallize here. And they go into a Grass type. So that's an interesting choice right there. So let's see how this plays out for us, because we know they're physical. Oh no, they're a Bug type. Icicle Spear comes through. It's not going to do much damage to us because it's a physical attack from an Inteleon. It is still going to hurt, as it hits 4 times. 5 times would have been nice. We're going to get that boost from the Power Herb, so we're going to absorb some light real quick. It's not going to do much damage, but the important part is that it gets us that Unburden boost. So we'll go for a Solar Beam right now. Half. That's good damage. It's good damage. That gives me faith that Dragon Pulse might KO. So I'm going to go for a Dragon Pulse right now. So there we go. Dragon Pulse comes through. Can we get a KO? That'd be nice. Yes, we can. Sceptile coming through. So the real question is, do we do a Flygon video or a Sceptile video? I'm leaning towards it being a Sceptile video because Sceptile finishes up the game, right? It does a lot of damage. You know, Flygon did really well, but Sceptile is also doing extremely well. We've got that Unburden boost as well, which means now this Cinderace is going to have to take a full power of Terra Blast. So in comes Azula. I love the name Azula, by the way. It's a really cool nickname for a Cinderace. Really cool. So we just go straight for a Terra Blast. There's no real reason not to. It's Stab. It's going to be doing some decent damage. We got that Unburden boost. Now we outspeed. Let's go for it. Pummel it into Oblivion. Please KO. Over half, but not quite enough. They go for a Pyro Ball, and that takes us out. So, unfortunately, Sceptile does not clear up the game. As unfortunate as that is, it's not the end of the world, though. It's really not the end of the world. And the reason it's not the end of the world is quite simply because we have Raikou right here, who is Choice Scarfed. We definitely outspeed the Cinderace, no problem. And it's nice to see Raikou back. Really nice to see Raikou back in the game. So let's go for that Scald. Super effective damage. There we go. And down goes Cinderace. And that's going to be the game. So GG, man. But that was a pretty fun one. We got to showcase Sceptile. We got to showcase a very interesting Choice Specs Flygon set, which wasn't Choice Specs originally. That was a pretty good game. I enjoyed that. But anyway, here is the team. If you want to try it out, use the code at the top right corner of the screen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.